13. Reality. Lavanya's POV. I was crying and sobbing uncontrollably while he casually ordered food over the hotel phone. Between sobs, I tried to steal glances at him, hoping my tears would make him feel guilty about what he was doing to me. But I failed. All I could see in his eyes was a cold, detached stare. How will I get out of this situation? He sat on the couch and stared at me intensely. I tried my best to avoid his gaze, but the weight of his continuous stare made me feel sick to my core. Pathetic American rapist monster. I hate him. I just hate this man. No matter what happens, I vowed to fight him with every ounce of strength I had. So, I won't let him touch my soul. But I couldn't understand what he wanted from me. The uncertainty of what he might do next sent shivers through my body. Even though I was fully dressed, wearing a knee-length skirt, his piercing gaze made me feel utterly exposed. The silence in the room was deafening, as if my life had come to a complete standstill. The doorbell suddenly broke through my terrifying thoughts. He stood up and walked towards me, making my heart pound violently. Though I was still kneeling on the floor, his approach made me increasingly anxious. No, don't come closer. Lavanya, please go inside. I need to open the door, he said casually. No way. I didn't respond to his request and instead shifted slightly to the left without standing up. I'm not going to let him take advantage of me. Never. He sighed in exasperation before moving past me to open the door. Sir, your order, a male voice said from the doorway. Thank you, I'll take it from here, he replied curtly, then slammed the door shut. I flinched at the sound, my nerves already on edge. Help me, God, please help. I watched as he carried a large rectangular tray with two smaller trays on it, each covered in aluminium foil, back to the couch. Come on, let's have some food, huh? He said, as casually as if we were old friends sharing a meal. Really? How could he act so normal? He had forced me into this situation, and now he expected me to eat with him? What is wrong with this man? Didn't you hear me? He said, his tone growing sharper. I stayed rooted to the spot, ignoring his invitation. My mind raced with suspicions. What if he had tampered with the food? What if it was laced with sleeping pills to make me unconscious so he could do whatever he wanted? Oh my God, that sounds so terrifying. He's a monster, a merciless, evil monster. Lavanya, come sit here, he said, gesturing to the single couch just a foot away from him. I would rather die. Are you coming or do I have to drag you again? Because I'm really not in the mood to play games right now. I'm starving, he warned, his voice laced with irritation. I avoided his gaze and stayed silent, refusing to move. I had no intention of going anywhere near him. A tense silence followed, heavy with unspoken tension. Then, after what felt like an eternity, I heard him sigh deeply. He groaned, and I saw him rise from the couch out of the corner of my eye. I watched in terror as he started walking toward me. Oh God, no! Please help me! Please, please, please help! He approached me, standing in front of me for a few moments before grabbing my right hand with his left and attempting to pull me up from the floor. I fought against his grip, but it was as tight as handcuffs. No, no, I screamed, desperate to break free. Stop it now, he snapped sharply, his voice cold and commanding. I went silent, my eyes wide in fear. He pulled me up, forcing me to rise. My legs felt numb from sitting in the Japanese-style position for so long, and I struggled to keep my balance. Just as I was about to lose my footing and fall back to the floor, his right arm wrapped around my waist. The touch of his hand on me made my body tremble. Once I regained my balance, I immediately reached for his arm with my left hand, trying to remove it from my waist. I glared at him with eyes full of anger and tears. How dare he touch me like that? Whatever, he muttered. His jaw clenched and he pulled me inside the room with force, pushing me to sit on the couch. I had no choice but to obey. Smells delicious, he commented, sniffing the food as he uncovered the trays. He moaned in satisfaction. I turned away in disgust, rolling my eyes. Bastard! There were 2 trays, both filled with Indian vegetable dishes. He ordered Indian food? Why? But I forced myself not to care about that right now. There was one thing I needed to know. Why had he brought me here? Why? The words slipped from my lips, desperation lacing my voice. He exhaled deeply before answering. Eat. He gestured to the food with a cold stare. No. I shook my head firmly, refusing to touch the food until I got some answers. You're too stubborn, huh? He remarked, eyeing me. But you know what? I'm more stubborn than you. A slight smirk tugged at his lips. You don't need to say that out loud. Your actions speak louder than your words. I'm not touching that, I declared, staring at the food. So, you want me to feed you? He raised an eyebrow, taunting me. No, I replied quickly, refusing his insinuation. Then eat, he commanded, shoving one of the trays towards me. Or else, I won't mind feeding you, he added with a smirk, taking a bite from his own tray. He was eating the food. That meant it was safe. His food is safe. But what about mine? I hesitated, still uncertain, until I saw him take a bite from my tray as well. He chewed it with a smile. Don't worry, he said, his voice dripping with false reassurance. The food is totally vegetarian. That's not what I'm worried about, you monster. But as he ate, I realized the food was safe, at least for now. I sighed in relief. Thank God the food wasn't poisoned. Though I was starving, I still wasn't in the mood to eat, especially not when it came from him. I have to admit, this tastes good, he said, chewing with satisfaction. Indian food isn't so bad after all. Indian food was never bad, you pathetic American monster. What do you know about Indian food? You Americans don't even cook for yourselves. You just eat junk like pizza, burgers, and pasta, always ordering takeout. That's why you're like this. Evil, selfish. I glared at him with every ounce of hatred I had left. But he was too busy enjoying his food. Why is he behaving like this? I want to go back. Let me go, please, I pleaded, hoping for a positive response since he seemed to be in a good mood. His mood swings were unpredictable and they were loud enough that I couldn't miss an opportunity to escape. I will take you, but first, finish that. He gestured to my tray, pointing his right index finger at it. I'm not hungry, I lied. You can't even lie properly. He chuckled, and it made me furious. He's laughing? He made me cry, and now he was laughing in front of me? What kind of person was he? Why are you doing this to me? What did I do to you? My frustration broke through. Every time you make it difficult for me to work for you, I'm leaving your office in a month. Can't you just let me finish my work peacefully? Soon I'll be gone. I won't bother you anymore. I followed your instructions, your rules and regulations. I did everything you told me to, but still. Why do you hate me so much? Why are you hurting me like this? What do you want from me? I demanded, my voice full of anger and exhaustion. Hate? He asked, sounding genuinely confused. I don't hate you. His voice held an honesty I hadn't expected. That was a new response. Then why? Why are you doing all of this? I asked, my tone calmer, though the frustration still lingered. He paused before speaking. You're my employee, and I'm your boss. You have to do whatever I ask you to do. You can't say no to me all the time. Do you get that? What was that supposed to mean? That's not an answer to my question, I replied, my voice steady. And for your information, sir, I'm not here to obey your personal orders. I'm your employee in the office, and you can clearly see my loyalty through my work. Outside of that, I'm not going to obey your orders. I follow only work-related orders. This is office hours, and you're not obeying my orders. You can't say no to me during office hours, he argued. This is lunchtime, and we're not even in the office building. Why should I obey you? I countered. His jaw clenched, and I shifted uncomfortably on the couch. After a short silence, he explained, because I wanted to eat something Indian with an Indian girl. It wouldn't look right if I invited Balram for lunch, right? He shrugged. I blinked rapidly, unable to respond immediately. Unbelievable. Wait, I started again after a pause. You dragged me all the way here, booked an expensive hotel room, and ordered Indian food just to have lunch with an Indian girl? His shrug continued, wide-eyed. What kind of nonsense is that? I couldn't argue any further. What did he mean by that? Okay, fine. You wanted to have lunch with an Indian girl, I said, still processing it. But why me? You could have invited any other girl from our office. Why me? I said no, and when a girl says no, it means no. But you just dragged me here like... My words faltered and tears began to fall. Like a sack or a dead body, or like an evil man dragging an innocent one. Your no makes me angry, and I don't like such no's, he exclaimed. Is he serious? Can you hear yourself, Mr. Dawson? Are you deaf, or are you just pretending to be one? I retorted, my anger rising. You behave like an animal every time I meet you. The words seemed to hurt him as I noticed pain in his eyes. He blinked, avoiding eye contact with me. You should maintain your limits, Miss Lavanya, he warned, his cold gaze returning, and I turned away from him. Anyway, who is the guy you're always with? He suddenly asked, his expression fiery. What? Where did that come from? Guy? Who? I asked, frowning in confusion. The guy you were dancing with at the party, the guy you were sitting with in the cafeteria, he pointed out. Oh, he's talking about Virat, sir. He is the manager of my department. Why? I answered, unsure of where this was going. And, he pressed. And, he was my senior in college, but I trailed off. And, he insisted. And, he's a good friend of mine. You? And what? And that's it. He's my manager in the office. Why are you asking about him? I was losing patience. You're lying, he accused. What do you mean? Why would I lie? I never lie, I argued. There's something going on between you two, he declared with doubt in his voice. Wait, what? What? I was stunned by his words. Is he insane? What is he saying? And how dare he ask such a personal question? Gotcha, he smirked. That's not true. There's nothing going on between him and me, I clarified firmly. Well, I'm not blind, Miss Lavanya. Whenever you're with him, you blush, he observed. Blush? No. That's your misconception. I avoided his gaze, my face flushed with embarrassment. Really? He huffed, unconvinced. I told you, we are just friends and nothing more. Why am I even answering these silly questions of yours? I don't need to explain this to you, I declared firmly. Let's see. Now finish your food, or we're not leaving this place. I love it here. So peaceful, no disturbances, no third person. Just you, me, and this delicious food. I need to get out of here. This man is driving me crazy. He's mad. I wanted to return to the office. So, I looked at him one last time and started eating. We finished within 15 minutes. He left a generous tip on the tray. Show off, bloody rich American businessman. Now, can we go? I asked, standing up from the couch. Wait, he said, looking down at the table as he breathed deeply. Look, the way I behaved with you at the party and forced you to wear that formal dress, I realized it was wrong. I came to apologize, but you were busy with your boyfriend, he said, his voice low. He's not my boyfriend, I interrupted, a little too quickly. He sighed deeply, turning away from me. Then, I thought of inviting you to a good Indian lunch. As per my plan, everything was going right until you ruined it by saying no. He continued, glaring at me with fiery eyes. You didn't invite me for lunch. You just ordered me to come with you. I corrected him, reminding him of his own words. And you didn't come, he said, giving me that same cold glare. Who will? Any sensible girl would refuse to come with you like this, but that doesn't mean you have the right to drag someone around like a sack. Who gave you the authority, Mr. Dawson? I am not your private property, I shouted. He stood up and began speaking, his voice rising. That's your fault. Why do you always try to run away from me? I just told you to come and you denied. Why do you always ignore me? I didn't ignore you, I stammered, my voice softening. I was with my friends and I just don't feel safe around you. The last part of my sentence was barely audible. What? He turned to face me in shock, and I couldn't meet his gaze. The way you behaved at the party, the way you dragged me here, these things scare me. I can't be around you. I tried to explain my fear as briefly as possible. You're not trying to say that you think I'm a pervert, are you? He asked bluntly. I didn't answer, and the silence confirmed my thoughts. What? You think I'm a bloody pervert? He shouted, his voice full of disbelief. My God, how could you think that? I may be a hard person to understand, but I'm not some sex criminal. I'm a rich, successful businessman, not a monster. His anger filled the room, and I found it hard to look at him as he spoke those words. Americans don't even know how to speak in public with some decorum, I thought, as I breathed deeply, trying to steady myself. The way you dragged me here to this hotel room, I thought you had some evil intention. What am I supposed to think when a guy books a hotel room and locks me in with him? I pointed out his mistakes, my voice trembling slightly. Jesus Christ, he groaned. For the very first and last time, I'm saying this to you. I am not a bloody rapist, he shouted, his frustration clear. Then why did you hurt me at the party? I asked, my voice more direct this time. He paused, blinking rapidly, clearly caught off guard by my question. I don't know. I'm not sure why I did that. I think I was drunk that evening, he admitted. Well, that's why I brought you here, to apologize. He seemed sincere in his explanation. I don't know what to say, I replied honestly, unsure of how to react. Look, I'm not a bad person, you know. I may seem like someone who plays around with girls, and I've dated many, but I've never done anything without their consent. I've never touched anyone like that. I don't know what came over me that night. I think it was the drink, but I swear, I'm not a bad person. I'm a good, honest wala, he said, trying to reassure me. Wala? That didn't sound like an English word. What is wala? I asked, feeling a little confused. Man, in your language? He said casually. Huh? Like good man, good wala, bad man, bad wala, you don't know that? He asked, raising his eyebrows in confusion. What? Something felt off. Whoa, what? Who told you that? I shook my head, more puzzled than ever. Balram? Why? He answered innocently, and I shut my mouth, feeling speechless. I just stared at him, unsure of how to explain the real meaning of those Hindi words. My brain was laughing, but I was doing my best to stifle a smile at his sweet, innocent misunderstanding. Sweet? Innocent? Mr. Dawson? My inner voice scolded me. What's wrong with you?